Hello, everyone. I am here with Samantha. This interview is really special for me because Samantha and I were in the exact same cohort in September of 2018. And it's exciting to see how her business has shifted and changed and how she started off with. So, hi, Sam.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your how you got started and what led you to LFP?
I was just about a year out of graduating from university and I took a Bachelor of Kinesiology, which is pretty much like a personal trainer. And I did end up getting my certification to become a PT as well as become a nutrition coach. And through all of that, I was wanting to start my own online personal training business, and that flopped. It never ended up happening because I didn't have the confidence in myself, and I was seeking of validation and support through various partners of mine that I was with until I moved back home and I was like, you know what? I want to change my career. Like maybe there's just something else that I want to do. And I just went on this crazy binge on Pinterest, looking at different career options and what I could do maybe from home or something that's like on the internet. And I eventually came across so many articles and videos about virtual assisting. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I've never heard of that. And through reading all these articles, I don't even remember how I came across the program that we took together, but for whatever reason, I just believed wholeheartedly. I'm like, this is the course I need to take. I looked at other ones, but hers was the one that I just felt so connected to. And I'm like, she is a leader in this industry. I need to learn from her and, figure out how to become a virtual assistant. And we did a sales call, but she explained everything. I'm like, you can explain everything, but I'm pretty much sold. So I'm like, you can explain everything if you want, but I'm going to invest in your course. Doesn't matter what the price is. And
so
she's
that
like,
was basically
okay.
what you said. Right. And then I was the other way. Okay, well, I need to think about it. And then, a couple weeks later I joined, but yeah, that's awesome. Okay, continue. That is so cool. I'm sorry I didn't interrupt because I was just like, anyway.
And through taking the course, I was taking on some in-person clients in town and doing a couple things online, but then I slowly shifted into life coaching. So I think by the time I graduated from the laptop program with you, maybe it was 6 months later, and I thought, like what I feel my true calling is life coaching. And so I shifted into that, and I've shifted my niche a few times and was super specific on like the people that I helped. But right now I'm a life coach, and I do specialize more in relationships and sex coaching with my Aroused podcast, which talks all about sexuality. But I do also general life coaching as well. And I just love it. I still do certain virtual assisting for a couple of my clients, for in-person clients that I'll help them with their desk at work, or I'll like help them declutter things or manage their email. So there are some virtual assisting skills that I still use and that have been very beneficial to both my life coaching business to help me run my own business. But I don't use a lot of those anymore because I'm doing more life coaching now.
Right. But that's really cool that even 3 years later, the course still serves you in some way. Whether it's running your own business or, like you said, you have a couple clients on the side that you help with odds and ends. And that's one thing I love about LFP is it just kind of sticks with you. Like all the education helps bring to light so many different areas of what we're doing, whether we shift in business or, continue on with our virtual assistant business. It's just it lingers around because it just offers so much.
Of course. And that's something that I've even had to remind myself of, because there's one Google sheet that I continue to use. And I even ask myself, I'm like, where the hell did I get this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was from LFP, like almost 3 years ago. Like, that's crazy that I'm still using this one document for my own business. So it's really fun.
What document is it?
It's the one where you track your revenue and your expenses, and I still use it. I've also like updated a little bit, and then I've used it as a template to create ones for my own clients as well and help them keep track of their expenses and income in their businesses as well. So that was like a huge resource that I still use to this day from the program that I never even thought how valuable it was going to be 3-4 years later.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that I even, when I invested in the program, realized how valuable it is. And now looking back and like doing these interviews and talking with everyone, that's how I'm realizing that, oh, I'm still using this, and oh, this person is still using that. And it's helping them in this sort of area. And it's amazing. It's amazing that the program has offered so much. Okay, so we talked to you a little bit about how you got to the Laptop Freedom program, and then what you do now. And you talked about how you shifted within the first 6 months. So what was like your aha moment of shifting? Was it because you were a virtual assistant and you were working for other coaches, or what made you get to that point of that shift in your business?
So I was working for a lot of entrepreneurs and helping them navigate through like creating Facebook pages and helping them with creating graphics and like marketing posts. But honestly, like looking back like 3 years, I don't really remember what exactly was the point, but it kept coming up for me that it was like, like this is great and I'm helping people in their business, but I really want to help people in their lives and help them create a better life for themselves that's not just for entrepreneurs, so that they can enjoy their free time and make sure that they have free time for themselves, because burning out and overwhelming themselves with work is something that's encouraged in our society, this like hustle nature. And I completely disagree with that. I experienced that in my last semester of university and had to navigate through that by myself because everyone was encouraging this hustle society, and it's so damaging because you don't get to relax. It doesn't encourage you to sit back and to be productive while being quote unquote like unproductive. So there were just a lot of things that were coming up for me. And I was also in an abusive relationship at the time where I was wanting to pursue my own thing and I wasn't getting the support that I needed. So once I left that relationship, I was like, hey, I'm ready to go after my dream. And that was a big driving force to me wanting to help other people. Is like, I know what it's like to not do what you want to do and feel like you're being held back. So I wanted to be that support for other people to help them achieve their goals and their dreams.
That's awesome. That's just so inspiring. What held you back, or what was the most challenging part of just starting your virtual assistant business? Like what did LFP help you overcome to get into this industry?
The biggest thing was building my confidence and the whole idea of perfectionism and how that always holds you back. So I remember Katie always talking about when we're making our resume and making it look different and not putting our skills as skills, but putting them as like superpowers. And that was something that completely transformed the way that I looked at my abilities and my skills. Was like, no, like it's actually a superpower because I'm super awesome at managing my own email inbox and organizing things. And that is a true superpower. So she reframed that and rewired my brain with that, as well as with this whole idea of perfectionism, as well as, oh, it has to be perfect or I can't put it out there. And when you have that mentality, you're never going to do it because it's never going to be quote unquote perfect, because your idea of perfection is so unrealistic and you're never actually going to get there. So even if there is a little bit of a mistake, putting it out there is way more important than just waiting for like the perfect moment or being like, oh, I have to change this, like then it's going to be perfect, because it's never going to. So that was something she always encouraged, was like, just do it, just put it out there, because even if it's not exactly what you want, you can always update it later, but put it out, because then you're actually doing it. You're taking the first step.
And it's scary, and it's scary getting out there, but then it becomes a rhythm, it becomes practice, and you figure out you. And that's one thing that I really like about this industry, is there's so much uniqueness in these online businesses, whether you're a virtual assistant, a coach, a social media manager, to be more specific, or a web designer. I just feel like there's so much more individuality than your regular 9 to 5.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like when you're on the online space, you get to reach more people than, in your own little circle of people in your city, because the internet is this wonderful thing. And although it has a couple curses as well, the one wonderful thing about it is I can talk to someone all over into the United Kingdom, or in Australia, or in different parts of the US that I never would have if the internet didn't exist. You can network with other people. You can learn from other people, which was amazing, because I live up here in Canada and Katie was in the US and that took her program LFP. And I never would have been able to find it without the internet.
Right. Yeah. It's just amazing. The internet is such a great concept, and it's used for so much good. Like you said, it's got its evil side, but that's an entirely different matter. So for our last 5 minutes, I really want to focus just on our cohort. Like, do you still talk with any of the ladies? I'm more in, like, I follow you online and I participate in some of your stuff, and Patty, and Kylie, or Kaylee, I can't remember how she pronounced it, because it's spelled very similar to mine. Her son is just absolutely adorable. So do you keep in contact with anybody still?
I have most of the ladies on Facebook, but unfortunately, I've been like so busy in my own stuff, and with my like ADHD brain, it's hard for me to like remember to be like, hey, let's go talk to this person, because we haven't talked to this person in forever, but they're still on my friends list. So that's one amazing thing is I can always message them on Facebook and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, how's everything going?
Or yeah, like for example, this interview, I was sitting there thinking I was going through the LFP list, just trying to like jog my memory on some people. And I'm like, oh, I haven't met her. And I was like, oh, I should do a girl from my cohort. Like, that would be so fun. Just to kind of see like where you're at and catch up, use this as a catch up thing too. It's so nice.
Yeah. And I think you're like probably the number one lady from the group that I've kept in contact with, because you started your own virtual assisting business, and then you and Rebecca like worked together to take over LFP. I know she asked Katie first, and then you came in as a mom and like wanted to add some more features as like starting a business as a mom from home and everything. So like you're like the number one person I've been like following and keeping in touch with that way. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like to add that mom aspect in there as well, because even since COVID, like so many people are working from home, and for you to add that extra aspect of like being a mom and navigating having kids at home, I think is really helpful, because there were even a couple moms that were part of our cohort, like that. Unfortunately, Katie didn't have that extra piece on, just because she didn't have kids.
Right. And it didn't it didn't affect me either way. Like, I was still successful. I still got so much out of the program. A lot of moms, before I started co-mentoring with Rebecca, it's amazing to see. And some of us, we weren't moms when we took the program, but we had like this vision of, oh, I might want to be a mom someday. Or if that part of my life actually happens, like I have this to fall back on and use to build a career. And yeah, there's just so much value in this business. Like, whether you start off as a VA and shift like Samantha has, like I have, or, whether you continue your VA business and build agencies like Tamara, and there's so much greatness. And that's the point of highlighting these, is to reach other women so that way they can do the same and reach their full potential, like you've been talking about, build their confidence and go after their dreams, and not participate in the hustle, but be productive and successful. It's so rewarding and important.
100%. And that was another thing, is like for me to be able to create my own hours, because the 9 to 5 workforce, it's set, like you can't change those hours. But when you start your own business, whether it's virtual assisting, coaching, you get to decide what your hours are and when you work and when you don't.
Yeah. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. My hours are during nap time, and every once in a while I'll sneak in a morning if I want to, and it works with my schedule and my husband's schedule. Or if I want to work at night because I can't sleep, but that's my choice. It's not, oh, I have a deadline for my boss while they're sleeping, I'm going to get my stuff done. No, it's because I want to. And I want to share that with the world, that they could have that too.
Of course. And I mean, it's in the title itself, like Laptop Freedom Program. Like you get to find freedom, whatever that looks like for you.
Because everybody's is different. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that you said that. Thank you. Well, we will go ahead and end here. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with everyone. And if you have any questions about the Laptop Freedom Program, you can reach out on our website and ask any questions that may come up.